Oh. 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 Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. We are in the final 3 mornings of this semester. Share with me, what have you learned about yourself this semester? Learning about yourself is called swadhyaya. This is a fundamental practice for a seeker. What have you learned about yourself? Please share in the chat. Some of your expectations are deep. How distracted I am. That you have more faith now. There's a lot of arrogance. That you're an instrument. Very good. Please know, you don't need to be taught how to do swadhyaya. You don't need to be taught how to be self-reflective. This is a natural practice for a seeker. In our community, all we do is create a context that encourages this. But even if this context is not there, you've always been like this. Keep being like this. From the age of 0 to 23, when one is developing themselves, one is to engage in vrata samyama. That is training in being committed. In a more casual sense, learning to follow through. The likelihood of one training in this, learning how to follow through, is probably regulated by their parents. If their parents are committed, the children are probably going to be committed. Meaningful Mornings is a workshop that is focused on a subjective science. A science that is directing us, a science that is helping us to know the subject. The subject is singular. So really, this is a science of oneness. Such a science cannot be theorized. Such a science is only explored and felt by living this, by being in a context where this is lived. The likelihood of all of us experiencing oneness increases when there is samanvaya. Please note that in your mind. Samanvaya means consistency. When the teaching, when the teacher, when the taught are consistent, the probability of one living this science increases. I'd like to add an element to this consistency. Many of you shared in the chat how distracted you are. I'm distracted, my neighbor's distracted. Society is encouraging that. In a time of distraction, in addition to consistency, clarity is required for one to tune into this science. Samanvaya, consistency and clarity. 4, a teacher to share that I've taught this, but not shown this, shows a lack of consistency, a lack of their own clarity. If they have shared that I've taught this, they have to show this. And that is the importance of a scripture or a map where this is shown. Otherwise, how do we know they're not just making it up? That's what the ego likes to do, correct? Shri Krishna and Bhagavad Gita are perfect. The teacher, the teaching is perfect. Samanvaya. I'm sharing these sentiments because we're about to complete this semester. I recently asked in our 100 Steps to Infinity class what contradictions they have observed in the course, in the teaching. I'm asking you to reflect on the same. I have now been teaching Bhagavad Gita to over 250 students a day for over 125 hours. And that too, in public record. All of this is public, correct? These videos are recorded. If we are all together in a room, I can say what I want, but who is to prove otherwise? And I'll be sharing my gift with all of you on Friday in terms of the recordings of Meaningful Mornings. You can infer that in whatever way you want. I pray that I have served Shri Krishna and Shri Krishna and Bhagavad Gita well. They are perfect. I am imperfect. This is very important to me, the most important. And so I want you to reflect on, have you experienced samanvaya? Consistency and clarity. No contradictions, no assumptions. Reflect on that. Otherwise, if there isn't samanvaya, living this will be difficult. Shri Krishna in verse 13 shares what mohitam is. Mohitam is to feel that you are ordinary, that you are not extraordinary. We typically don't use the word mohitam or confusion in our day-to-day affairs. It is important to understand the genesis of mohitam, though. This mohitam is starting with avidya. That is forgetting you are extraordinary. Then vikshepa, which is projecting that you are ordinary. Then raga, which is attachment, that I'm incomplete, but you can complete me. Then bhaya, fear. Fear manifests in so many ways, like regrets, like anxiety. And I feel the most tactile sentiment of mohitam is krodha, anger. We express anger in diverse ways. Retaliating, that is anger. Punishing, that is anger. Being agitated, that is anger. So when Sri Krishna shares that we have moha, if I theorize this, I deny that. I don't have moha. But if moha equals the expression of anger, then I do have moha. This moha has no basis. Matter is an appearance. Creation is relative. So it is illogical, it is nonsense to depend on this. Treat it like an appearance, treat it to be relative, and you will find that you're journeying back. Less anger, less fear, less attachment, less projection, less forgetfulness. So moha pushes us out this way. This is also showing us how to come back. And now, Sri Krishna shares a very striking teaching in verse 14. Daivi yesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Daivi, which means divine, of the nature of deva, shining. He, esha, indeed is gunamai, that which expresses as the gunas. Tell me, what expresses as the gunas? This is inferred as the expression of the gunas, Maya. So Sri Krishna is sharing here that Maya is divine. How so? We're taught otherwise. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Navayogi Upadesha, the third question is, what is Maya? And the answer given, Sarja, which means creation. In the language of Gita, gunas. All of the questions asked in this dialogue are positive. Then why is the question of Maya asked? Because the questioner, who is a seeker, knows that Maya depends on Bhagwan. That this creative power depends on the creator. This dependency is really a form of bhakti or devotion. This is why Maya is described as divine. Mama Maya Duratyaya. Whose Maya is this? Mama. We're all trying to let go of it. Shri Krishna is assuming control of it. I own this. It's like when our children are misbehaving and saying, whose child is that? I look the other way. Or I point to Sheila. But Shri Krishna is saying, this is my Maya. Duratyaya is difficult. Shri Krishna is being light here. Is most difficult. Nothing is more difficult than dealing with crossing over Maya. Maya has many definitions. Here are some. One definition, that which is measured. Maya is that which is measured. Implication, if you're a competitive person, you're doing this based on measurables, correct? Maya. Another definition, Maya is names and forms. So put more simply, Maya is social media. It's all about names and forms. The most technical definition of Maya. Ma means not, N-O-T. Yaha means that which. So Maya means not that which, rearranged, that which is not. Maya is that which is not. Mameva ye prapadyante. Prapadyante means to prostrate, to surrender. Eva, alone. To who? To the one who's inconsistent, to the one who's unclear? Obviously not. To Mam. That is Sri Krishna, the perfect. In question 4 of the dialogue in Bhagavatam, the question is, what is taranti? How do I deal with Maya? And the answer given is prapadyeta, which means to prostrate, to surrender. Here the Rishi says specifically to one's guide. And then what happens? The guide is to train the disciple in bhakti, dependence. Dependence on what? Bhagya. Bhagya means virtues. How can one deal with the pain of Maya? For you to feel the purpose of your day in life is to become virtuous. Simple. I have much more to share about that, but completing this verse, if you do this, mayam etam, from this Maya, tarantite, you will cross over, you will be free. Do you all know who Bhagwan Vittala is? Have you seen an icon of him? He's standing on a brick, straight, and his hands are on his waist with his thumbs forward. Can you all do that for me? This becomes a yoga class now, correct? An asana class. You know why he does that? Because he's so impatient. Come on, let's go. He's doing that to point that Maya is only waist deep. You're feeling overwhelmed, but it's only waist deep. Come, you can do this. And Madhusudana Saraswati says, Maya is like a prostitute that withdraws and goes away when she knows that a person is committed. A visualization. If I'm committed to virtues, Maya will not touch me. Lots more to share. From inspiration to application, your application was to rate how much you are caring for young adults. Would anyone like to share? Quickly, my observation. Prince Arjuna is learning Bhagavad Gita, and he's around the age of 80 when he's learning this. And his body dies around the age of 120. So 2/3 of his life is complete before he learns this. If we care for those who are younger, we will expose this to them as soon as possible. Do it. Your application for this morning is, I want you to jump over water as much as you can today. Pour some water on your ground, jump over it. Water your grass, jump over it. So that is your application. Please be safe. I do pray for that, correct? I say be safe. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Be safe. Be sound, be serene, be joy.